What is the stupidest thing you have ever heard out of someone's mouth? How do left-handed people drive, my sister? As she then proceeded to try and drive left-footed. We just changed the steering on the passenger side. That's why you see so much cars like that in the UK. Lots of left-handed people. What's chicken made out of, my dumbass of an older brother? It's made out of children. Everyone knows that. Is the President of the United States also the President of Canada? No, the Prime Minister of the United States is the President of Canada. Someone put their jacket right beside a stove and said, "Don't worry, it's waterproof." Sounds like something I would say. You're not Asian, you're Chinese. I had a new girlfriend who asked to a room of my friends, 2 of them Korean. So like, what's the difference between an Asian person and a Chinese person? I wanted to crawl into a hole and die. Still not the stupidest thing I've ever heard someone say. That would be another girlfriend who asked me if the water tanks painted with dolphins near our beach were where they keep the dolphins at night. As a Scot in the US, I got called English once. When I told them I was from Scotland, they said, "Yeah, English." So, he didn't make it. A gentleman in a pub once asked me where I got my fake American accent from. I replied, "Same place you got your English accent. I'm Canadian." He was Irish. London is the Paris of New York, said my friend after a few drinks. We never let him forget it. I live in a pretty small town and I googled town name shirt once. This company obviously just inserts whatever you googled onto a shirt and gives you a preview. Because I'm pretty sure no one has actually made a shirt that said London, Paris, Tokyo, Podunk Town. I once had to explain to a call center colleague that blood oranges are not like blood diamonds. I totally get the logic on this one though. Someone told him once that most diamonds are blood diamonds and cause untold misery, yet everyone buys them anyway. He sees blood oranges and probably has some vague idea that some food supply chain stuff is also very bad ethically, which is totally true, like cartel avocados and stuff, and put 2 and 2 together. Like, if you think about it, it isn't much weirder for there to be 2 well-known slave supply industries than it is to just have one. Dude is dumb as rocks, but if it's stuck in his mind like that and he never bought any blood oranges or diamonds, that's a person with a pretty solid moral code emo. If you're not circumcised, you're gay. On some ships in the Navy, the bigger ones, the doctors offer to give vasectomies and circumcisions to keep their operating skills up. I'm not kidding. One of my shipmates said that on his previous ship, a sailor has decided that he wanted to get circumcised. He went off to the operation on the appointment day and came back about 10 minutes later. His buddies asked, "What happened? Did you chicken out?" He replied, sheepishly, "No, it turns out I'm already circumcised." He didn't have a response when they followed up with, "What did you think they were going to cut off?" I shat you not. I heard that the earth is hollow, and we live on the inside. When we look at the sky, we are looking into the middle of the earth, where are 3 spheres. Black body sphere is the biggest and it has dots on it. That's night. Sun and moon are smaller spheres. At night, sun is behind black sphere so it is dark. Also you can't see other parts of the earth just by looking up, because light does not travel in a straight line. It travels in a spiral. The thing that threw me off most about this is that they claimed light travels in spirals. If it did, you wouldn't see anything like you normally do, and it wouldn't just disappear either, making you not able to see the other side. A pop stan once told me, "Bro, stop stealing Korean culture and acting Korean, you freaking racist." I am Korean. North or south? Maybe he thought you were stealing North Korean culture. Australia doesn't exist. Yeah, like Chris Hemsworth and Margot Robbie are from Asgard. Bad news for me seeing I live in Sydney. I'm partially deaf. I've been partially deaf since I was 3 years old and I've been slowly but surely getting more deaf. I had a manager tell me I needed to work harder to get over my hearing loss. There was genuinely no concept of hearing loss being permanent in some cases and no amount of working harder would get rid of it. Shouldn't have skipped a day at the gym. It was a video with 2 people arguing and one of them roughly says, "With full confidence dog sperm can get me pregnant." Oh lord. I worked at a hippie crystal store in the mall. These girls come up and are looking at our amethyst cathedrals. Big pretty chunks of amethyst. One reached out to touch it and her friend immediately held her back and pulled her away, yelling, "Don't touch that. It's amethyst. Being around it gives you asthma." She was genuinely upset. I stopped dead in my tracks when I heard that one. That's it. The dumbest thing I ever heard. I thought snow was just the dust that blows off mountains and rain was when the snow melted. 23-year-old in one of my uni classes. What the frick? A woman I know adopted a baby from an Eastern European country. Someone who worked in our city's education system said, "But when she grows up, how will you understand what she's saying?" That sounds like some crap I'd say and immediately realize what I just said. Overhearing a conversation on a cruise deck between two people. "Look at how many stars there are out there. Yeah, they're actually pretty big too. If one crashed all the way in the water over there, it bet it would splash us over here." I was in a Warby Parker one day and there was a married couple being waited on ahead of me. I'd guess they were both maybe 50. The sales guy was showing them a pair of transition lenses and the man just could not understand them. The sales guy tried to explain them. His wife tried to explain them. He just kept replying, "But I don't understand how they give you night vision." They brought him outside to show him how they lenses darken in sunlight so you don't need a separate pair of sunglasses and he was like, "Oh okay, I get it now. But how does the night vision work?" After 20 minutes or so they gave up trying to explain to him that the glasses do not give you night vision. Let the man just have his night vision glasses. My uncle once said plastic isn't bad for the environment because it's not like it's not of the earth. Everything in it came from here. I responded with same with nukes and he changed the subject. My mom told me to lick my teeth regularly to straighten them out. I've spent about 6k and 2.5 years in Invisalign because she was convinced I could literally lick my teeth straight. Dentist actually told me to push teeth straight with my tongue when I was 7. Just push whenever you think of it throughout the day. So maybe she thought you'd lick really hard. I was working midnights back in the 80s. It was almost dawn and a few of us were hanging out in the parking lot. Venus was blazing away in the pre-dawn sky. I pointed it out to my co-workers and how it was easy to find in the sky. Its positioning in relation to the sun when I got interrupted by one of the guys standing there. He was pretty adamant that the sun revolved around the earth. Tampons have asbestos in them to make you bleed more, so you need to buy more of them. From a girl at a bar roughly 2003/2004. I just laughed and said, "Where'd you hear that?" On the internet, as this was the era of chain emails and non-facts floating around online. Not surprisingly, yes, she did read it online. This one has been around since before the internet. I remember hearing it when I was a kid, except it was a particular brand of tampon, and I think it was fiberglass instead of asbestos. I think being cryogenically frozen would be cool because you could see the future. I'd have to bring a space heater or a blanket or something though. I don't like being cold. Star basketball player in my high school health class. I'd like to think that I will come back to this post to cheer myself up after doing something stupid. Leaving the movie Titanic in 1997, I passed a person and overheard them say, "That movie was so unrealistic. No ship like that would sink." Legit hadn't heard of the sinking of the Titanic and thought the events in the movie were fiction. No ship like that would sink. She's made of answer. I assure you, she can. A roommate had to walk to work 2 kilometers in the sun. He asks me how he'd stop his head getting burnt, and asked me for advice on how to put sunscreen in his hair. I suggested a hat. He was floored, mouth dropped open, and thought it was a great solution. He told me I was so clever. Haha. No way these people exist. My very diabetic friend had dangerously high blood sugar levels and was in the emergency room. When she was starting to feel better and expressed that she was hungry, the nurse brought her a white bread ham sandwich, banana and juice box. When my friend said, "I can't eat this, it's literally all sugar," the nurse looked her dead in the face and replied, "I don't know what you people can eat. Do you want an extra juice box?" I wouldn't have believed it if I wasn't in the same room. One of my old friend asking in a serious voice traveling down to the beach house late at night, him looking out the window. "So who changes the batteries? On the side reflector post when they run out?" Just tell him it's one of the jobs for community service when they pick up trash on the highway. Designated battery guy. Court ordered. It's not the stupidest, but it's the most recent ones to mind. I'm a vet and was giving discharge instructions a dog after a neuter. Owner after dog neuter. So where are his stitches? Mio between his legs. Him his front legs or back legs? Me. His back legs. Where do you keep your testicles, sir? Oh, I have one you'll love then. I called the client to schedule a recheck for her dog who had a yeast infection. She very confidently told me he can't have a yeast infection anymore because she stopped feeding him bread. My old manager always had something to say about everything. I was due with my first child and our old hand-me-down fridge died suddenly. We bought a cheap but perfectly fine replacement. She asks me if it has an ice maker and I said no. She then says, you should have bought one with an ice maker because now that you're having a baby you're going to be using a lot of ice. The kid is 12 now and has had 2 sisters join him and I still know why I need the ice. Most likely no one that has seen a dinosaur is still alive. Bonus point because this was said while dragons, from GOT, were shown on TV. The idea was to point out that the TV show Game of Thrones was not real, since people who lived with the dinosaurs are, most likely, dead by now, and no one can be sure what a dragon looks like. Plenty of people have seen dinosaurs. My Walgreens pharmacist just this morning that said he would sell my insulin but wouldn't sell my syringes. WTF am I supposed to do with a vial of insulin with no way to inject it? In history class back in the day, our teacher wanted to show us some video. Teacher pulled down a projector screen and turned on the projector. Started to play the video but had no sound. The stupidest girl I have ever met declares I'll fix it and approaches the projector screen. Looks at it for a minute. Looks behind the screen. Then finally announces she doesn't know what's wrong with it. I once was talking about how my mom used to have to steal food clothing when my siblings and I were children so we could survive. Then my friend just says, yeah, but I bet you guys still ate blackberries. You can't be poor if you eat blackberries, apparently. This is particularly hilarious to me because at our poorest my family ate a lot of blackberries. They were free because the entire roadside in our neighborhood had blackberry bushes growing along the side, and we'd pick pounds of them and make pies, jams, and just eat them straight all the time. I asked my student why she missed 5 weeks of class and she said while looking me dead in the eye that she had a nosebleed. I mean, if I had a nosebleed that lasted 5 weeks, school would be a pretty low priority LMAO. There was a woman I worked with. I privately called her Mango Brain because she had the mental capacity of a mango. We were all standing around at work and talking about Thanksgiving and talking about how turkey is a special treat. The conversation took a turn when she piped up, Mango Brain, MMMM, turkey, bork bork bork, me, turkeys go gobble gobble not bork, MB, I wouldn't know, I'm a city girl. All I know is that goats are baby sheep. She was so confident about it too. She also thought the words to Donkey Shown were donkey chains. Darling, donkey chains. I've never met anyone else as clueless in my life. LOL at donkey chains. Can't remember the exact way he phrased it, because it was quite a few years ago, but it was something along the lines of, you girls are wearing jeans like you're going to a party. Girls should wear skirts. Anytime someone tells me that girls wearing pants isn't biblical, I remind them that men didn't wear pants back then either. Years ago I worked at a convenience store where everyone wore ties. Had a lady come in and rip on me, female, and another female employee for wearing men's clothing. Went on and on about how her church teaches that women should dress like women blah blah blah. She was wearing pants. Okay, they had flowers on them, but they were still pants. Overheard a girl from the UK completely unable to understand that Ireland could also belong to a country. Another student tried to explain where she was from but they got stuck at so it's an island, so it can't be part of the Netherlands. Islands are not part of the country. I mean, if she was from a landlocked country it would be incredibly stupid, but being from the UK takes it up another level. A friend and I were talking to this girl in high school who'd been in a stage play of Aladdin when she was younger. Friend, so did they have a real magic carpet? Girl, I don't remember. IDK the context, but she might have just meant she didn't know if they had a carpet flying on wires or just one on the ground. That sounds like something I would say, haha. Something to the effect of mice turn into those big nasty rats when they get older. This person didn't know that mice and rats were different species. I think this one is a classic. A dad joke. A high-end hat-tipping extravaganza. A centerpiece of all mainstream stupidity. What's Obama's last name? Kerr. Me. OMG. Today a 4th grade student asked me whether the boy cows or the girl cows lay eggs. Where do I even start? Adult friend. What do you mean? Just keep it simple and tell him the girl cows. Yes, and chicken come from their mama's tummies. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Do you want a treat? I'm a good boy, Tim. You said it 5 minutes ago. And of course I want a treat. This post deserves belly rubs as well. A girl screamed at me to score a birdie when I was playing for my school soccer team. I ain't kidding when I say this. About 5 of us just stood and stared while the ref kept yelling to play on. One time we were driving past a wind farm. A particularly big one too. My grandma asked what all the giant fans were for. My dad told her they were communicating with aliens. She was silent for another minute, so we assumed she knew it was just a joke. But then she suddenly says, wow, there must be a lot of aliens. A girl I used to know thought that Alaska was an island because it has its own box at the bottom of the map next to Hawaii. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.